My full name is Abiodun Christine Olujimi. I have been married to Chief Olujimi for about 43 years, and we're still going strong. I have been a journalist all my life, but eventually I veered into political science, and from there I went into politics. And politics has not been bad for me. I went into it unwittingly, but I am happy that I went into it, and I've had a beautiful checkered career in politics. I have been almost everywhere. I was a special assistant to the governor. I went to the House of Representatives. I came back, I became a deputy governor. I eventually became the commissioner for works, the first female commissioner for works. And after that, I went to becoming director of the NCC, Nigerian Communications Commission, and then came back again and became a senator and 2 terms in the Senate, and I became the Senate Minority Leader. So it's not been a bad time. It's been checkered. It's been tough, but we've been able to wade through it. It was not an inspiration. I was drafted. I was working as a journalist and I was pregnant, and my husband was in politics. So I was home most of the time. And whenever they needed me to help them out, I did. And so I helped out, and they had seen me on the screen reporting. So somewhere along the line, there was an election, and they needed someone to keep the ballot box so that no vandal will come and pick the ballot box. So my husband was ingenious. He thought if a pregnant woman was in charge of the ballot box, no one would try to snatch it. So they put me right there in front of the ballot box. I was the agent. And being the agent, I had to safeguard the box. And because I was pregnant, nobody came close to the box, and they were able to win the election. So immediately after, when I went back to work, the community came to me and said, "We don't want your husband to contest. We want you to contest." And I told them I didn't like politics, but they insisted. And my husband decided that if I was going into it, he was going to take a backseat forever and just be there to support me. And that's what he's done. When politics started, it was only a male affair. It was an all-male affair. There were very few women in politics. But at a stage, some of us who had contested, I had contested to go to the House of Reps in Ogun State. Some of us who had contested were drafted into the mainstream politics so that they could at least be able to have some women. And because we were drafted and they found us useful, we rose quite easily. And that is the reason why some of us are first in so many things. Like I said, I was the first female commissioner for works in my state. I was also the first deputy governor, and I even represented Ekiti South at the House of Reps and in the Senate. I also was the first female deputy governor of the state. I was the first female senator from my senatorial district. And of course, the first female minority leader in my state and even in Nigeria. So it was just that we were at the right place at the right time. It wasn't because we were better than any other person, but there were very few of us. And when they needed to use us, they found us very effective because as a woman, you needed to work 3 times harder. And so I've had a few very, very pleasant opportunities. Well, for a woman, you go through so much. But if you want to come into this business, this is monkey business, especially in Nigeria. If you want to come into it, you either have a thick skin and are prepared for it, or you don't come in at all, because there's nothing they will use against you. There are times you find stories in the news media, and you ask yourself, can this be me? Because you couldn't have done what has been written about you. And so there's violence everywhere against every woman that is perceived to be strong in politics. But the peak of it was when I wanted to be governor of my state. I had been everything. I thought it was better to give to my people as a governor than as anything else. Because as a governor, you are directly touching the lives of your people. You are directly working for them. You are directly lifting them from wherever they were to better places. So I thought it was good to become governor. And I had all it took to be. And I was shocked that the people that I expected that would be my backbone were the ones that came and said, excuse me, do you think we're ready for a woman to be governor over all of us? What do you think that Kabiyesi would say? That the Kabiyesi is the traditional ruler. Do you think a traditional ruler can come before you and allow you to wear him the crown? Or do you think you can do a lot of other things that men do as a woman? And I'm like, why not? But everyone was against it. And it was like, go back to your Senate. In the Senate, we can manage, but we can't manage you as governor of the state. One person even came to me and said, we keep going to our governors to confide in them. How can we men go and confide in a woman who is a governor? So, and that was my lowest ebb, because I thought I had given enough to the community to see that I meant well. 1, 2, I have the capacity to do well. 3, I also know what I'm doing, and I have the best intentions for my people. But that didn't matter to them. What mattered were those mundane things that had to do with their person rather than with the well-being of the entire state and the people. And so it's been like that. There was a time someone even published some gory details about what I didn't do. And you see, I keep telling people, when you're going into politics as a married woman, you must have a man that knows you, understands you, and know your limitations. If I wasn't properly married and properly grounded, I would no longer be a married woman today. Because they will concoct stories to discourage you, stories to make you leave the political space, stories to make you just want out. And I've been through it severally, but my husband will be the first to call me to say, have you heard? Don't worry, continue. Shame them. And that's how it's been. It's been very tough, especially when men look at you and say you're just an ordinary woman, and I have one at home, as if you are not a human being. And Nigerians are known for that. They keep bringing you down, lowering your self-esteem, so that you just feel like you are not a human being. But for some of us, we've been through it for so long, and so it's part of us. We're wearing it like a garb, and it doesn't make any difference any longer. And that's what I tell the younger ones. You must have a thick skin. You must also build confidence in your partner so that your partner knows that for this person, no, this is a no-no. And that's how I've been able to manage with the various violence against me and everything to bring me down mentally. Well, I didn't decide not to run again. I ran the last time. And of course, you know the story. And I went to court thinking I could retrieve it from the court, but it was not possible. So I'm cooling my heels. I've not decided to run again. But I usually look at my environment and the trajectory of political events before making a decision. But you see, for some of us, age is no longer on our side. So we have very few years to still be within the political space. Well, what I'm trying to say is, in the next 10 years, you don't want to be in this space. And that's a short period in the lifespan of a politician, because every cycle is 4 years. It means you only have an opportunity for 2 more cycles. And that's why I said, before I had 20, 30 years. And so it was easy. You could look forward and you could say, no, I've lost this one. I'm going to try again. So I believe I will still try again. What I will try for, I don't know. But I am still hoping and keeping my gunpowder dry. They were very supportive because it was novel to have a female senator becoming their leader. I became the leader of the minority party. And there were not few men. There were about, at first, 46 men. And you can imagine, 46 made men. And you became their leader. But they were very supportive. In fact, it was one of them that nominated me because I wasn't expecting it. I was already a deputy minority whip, which I thought was good enough. I was not going in the face of anyone. But one of them said, no, this is a person who is capable, who can do this. Let us allow her. And because I didn't want to disappoint them, I did everything to ensure that they all felt comfortable. They were all carried along, and they were very, very supportive. And they were the ones that would point me at certain things that I didn't quite see. The political party was also very supportive. My party, the People's Democratic Party, was always like, we're the only ones that have a woman as a principal officer, and we are proud of it. And they made me also proud. They ensured that I was leading almost every aspect of activities for the party. And it was such a huge encouragement. I didn't feel bad at all. Yes, there were times when the people put you down, like when they say, it's because she's a woman that she has not done this. You feel very bad at those times. But you'll find one man coming to say, don't let that put you down. You're doing well. I mean, they were very good. They were very, very good. They were very, very supportive. In Nigeria, there are so many things to do. We've not gone too far. We need to start from the political party. Political parties must be compelled to think about 35% affirmative action at all levels. Imagine if a political party wants to do their congresses, and they say in the ward, which is the smallest, there is only one or maximum two traditional roles for women. Woman leader. Maybe once in a while, assistant woman leader, and then ex officio. We must compel parties to think of 35% representation from that level up. If, imagine, at the ward level, you have, usually there are about 15, you have 5 women in charge. Those 5 women are likely to attract more women, and they're likely to be role models for some of the other women who are coming ahead. And so at that level, you'll have a conglomeration of women of diverse intentions that will come together and manage the party. If at the local government level, you also have that. And then you get to the state level, you have that. And then at the national level, you have that. I mean, we would have at least helped ourselves. And then when it comes to elective positions, they also must imbibe that. Every political party must be asked to include 35% in their constitution, so that when you are doing your primaries for councillorship, you know that you must field at least 35 to 40% of women in that constituency. Imagine if there are 5 political parties and they all field 35%. You are sure that at least 30%, wherever they will come in, it won't be about party any longer. When you want to do House of Reps, same way. When you want to do the Senate, same way. And then when you want appointments, you must also ensure that you do that. Look at it. If we do it from the bottom to that level, you'll see a lot of women getting involved. The interest is heightened, and then they will be better. But with what we have now, they will tell you political parties, women don't buy forms. We did that long ago. It was when some CSOs brought all the parties together. I was also one of them. I was then the National Publicity Secretary of All People's Party. And they brought us together. We went to Michigan and we decided we were going to work together. And we worked together. That was how we got those things into the constitutions of our party. But no enforcement. Some of them didn't put in the constitution. They put only, it was just a gentleman's agreement. But we must put it in the constitution. If at that level we get a lot of women, it will be easy for us to also get a lot of women into office. We also must talk about safe seats. People feel very bad about it, especially the men. They feel very bad about it. They're saying, you want to contest the 35% with us, and then you are also still looking for safe seats. Are you saying you are driving all of us? But it doesn't work out that way. It's the safe seats are usually for a period of time. If you say, we'll have safe seats for 10 years, the safe seats would maybe 1 per senatorial district or 3 per state, which is senatorial. You can now have safe seats there. There could be House of Rep seats. There could be Senate seats. If you have those safe seats, imagine 3 times 36. That's a lot. And those people will be able to talk for the larger community of women. We are 50% of the population. And so we must have people to speak for us. And wherever you put a woman, you have heightened development. Everything moves smoothly. Yes, some women have not done well, but basically 85% of women do well wherever they are appointed, and that is probably the best way to go. Nigeria is lagging behind. We need to do something seriously about that. There's also the need for a cultural change. I remember when I was doing the GEO bill, it was culture and religion that foiled everything that we did. Some of us women don't even believe in in what we're saying. People believe only in their religion and their cultural inclusions. And they feel if they're out of it, then they're out of everything totally. So we need a cultural change, not in the way people are thinking, but for us to be large-hearted, to be able to say, yes, a woman's place is to take care of family. But at the same time, a woman must work. A woman must earn a living. A woman must support her husband. A woman must also have visibility. That kind of cultural change, and which will include inheritance, widowhood, those are very important issues. As a woman who is widowed, you only need to see them to pity them, because they're so badly treated that you feel this is not good enough. And when it comes to inheritance, most cultures just give everything to the male child. Are we not also human beings? Those are the cultural changes I believe we need to work out. And I believe advocacy will do a lot to help us in that. We also need to engage government. There must be a political will. What we have not had in the past is the political will to do what is right for women. If there is the political will to do what is right for women, we'll get all the laws passed. When we have laws that are backing us, it means we can go to court if anybody does not, is not in tandem. Whatever they're doing is not in tandem with the law. But now we don't have a law. We don't have anything protecting us. We just manage and waddle through everything. So we need to do such things. Government is currently working on violence and rape. They're now jailing and shaming people who do that, which is commendable. But we must go a bit further to ensure that it doesn't happen. Naming and shaming is not enough. When you have destroyed our girls, they don't grow well again. So we should be able to prevent it rather than take action after the deed is done. So I believe a better Nigeria is possible for women, but government must help us. And now, on our own part, we must also help ourselves. We must get the education we require. And we must know our limitations. Usually, women want to come from the deep end. Most women want to contest what is a bit too much for them. They believe, oh, if this person can do it, I can do it. We need to now channel our thoughts. If I become a counselor, can I be the leader of all the counselors? Yes. Can I impact my society by doing that? What if I become a member of the House of Assembly? Can I become a speaker or a leader in the House and be able to do a lot of things for my... We should start thinking along such lines so that we put round pegs, round holes, and then it gives us the experience required for us to attain the height we are looking for. There are so many things to be done. We need to pass the Gender and Equal Opportunities Bill, which has now been changed, is now a parity bill. We need to pass it so that at least as a gender that is greatly impacted by society, we have something that protects us and protects our children. You'll be worried when some of our young girls who have done tell you what they're going through in their places of work, where even though they are better qualified, they are brought down because they're girls and they will get pregnant and they will all get married and they won't be as effective as before. And then someone who is less educated is put over and above them, and they can't rise. Those are the issues that will be cured by the legislation. The legislation will also ensure that government walks the talk. They will have to make sure that the 35% affirmative action, which we signed on to, is dealt with and ensured that it's workable on all fronts. That is the minimum we can take now. On our part, we also need to lead by example and show that we can do it. That if they entrust this confidence in us, we'll carry it to greater heights and we won't misuse it. And I know Nigerian women will not misuse it. I believe we need to mentor as many women as possible. But I'll also tell you that we have a problem in that sphere. We have a problem because most women want other women to mentor them, but not until they find a male mentor. You see, you cannot blame them. The male mentor has finance. The male mentor has connections. The male mentor can do things the female mentor cannot do, and will get a lot done, which with the female mentor is not likely to get done. So you find out that when we say we want to mentor them, they agree. But the minute they see a male mentee, a male mentor, they all gravitate towards that. We need to find a balance to look at what we can do, to encourage them, to also listen to us, to know what we've been through, so that they don't go and face that, because they shouldn't make our mistakes. So we need to mentor them up to a point, knowing fully well that they are likely to be snatched away from us. And then we go on from there. But I believe that going forward, what we have now is that there is renewed interest in political participation when it comes to our agenda. There is renewed interest. Everybody wants to be in this political space. Everybody wants to work hard at it. Everybody wants to be able to give back to the society. And for us, we must use the CSOs. We must use every opportunity available to us to be able to shape them so that they won't go through the aggros of the past, and they will be better politicians than we are. And that's what we are doing now. You know, the biggest challenge for all of us women is finance. Most of the time, it's not the quantity of money you require. It is how you judiciously use what you have. And politics in Nigeria is extremely expensive. But if the Women Trust Fund can come with us, look at what every woman is going through, and give the minimum, tell us the minimum we can use to get into certain positions, then women can be better prepared for elective positions. I mean, most people now don't know what they are going into. They just come into it. And when they come into it, they see that it's too expensive, they drop off. But if we can sit down together and say, what is the minimum you need to become a councillor? What is the minimum you need to become a rep member or a member of the House of Reps? And we can cast it in concrete and put it aside and say, okay, if this is what we need, how do we go about it? We don't have money to give you, but we can give you templates with which you will work, raise those funds, and ensure that you spend the funds judiciously. That is what most of the women that are coming behind require. They require a group that can say, what you want to do requires so much. If that is too much for you, can you go down and go and take this? And if you are taking this, these are the things we can do for you. We can make you t-shirts. We can do you flyers. That will take out 40% of your spendings. And then you can raise funds through these avenues and make the balance. But you yourself will do this. We need that. We need the trust fund to help us with that kind of advocacy so that women know what they are going into. Without that, we will still be playing chess with our political contests. But if that is done, everyone will have an idea that we need to raise so much. But beyond it all, politics is too expensive in Nigeria. The people coming behind must make a deliberate effort to ensure that it is not as expensive as we have found it.